In your thoughts on Donald Trump and what it means for mass incarceration?
You know what? This is a labor of love for Jay, and as a result, he's my friend. We're here to talk about
Jay-Z reportedly leaves U.S. as Epstein files spark questions. Hey, he probably went to the same place Russell Simmons is in Bali, but I know Jay-Z owns his own island too.
But these pedophiles had resources. They bought an island, and they took children.
I've seen what they do. The ritualistic behaviors, the putting girls in the suitcases.
D.L. Hughley did not lower his tone this time. He walked straight to the microphone and basically told the entire world that Jay-Z is at a serious crossroads, and whichever direction he chooses next could turn the whole board upside down. Listen to this. The way D.L. laid it out, this is bigger than a quick headline or something trending for a few hours. He framed it as a conversation about power, legacy, and how long a person can juggle influence and silence before the public starts firing off real questions. When a seasoned voice like D.L. Hughley switches from punchlines to warnings, people lean in. He has been in the game long enough to watch the industry shield its favorites, abandon its own, and witness how fast the crowd can flip when they feel like pieces of the story are missing. And right now, all eyes are on Jay-Z like it is Game 7 of the finals. What makes this hit harder is the timing. Jay-Z is no longer just a rapper with classic albums. He is a billionaire mogul, a global brand, a walking example of how far hip-hop can elevate when street hustle meets corporate strategy. From Rockefeller to Rock Nation, from packed arenas to executive boardrooms, he assembled an empire brick by brick. But hold up, that level of success comes with a different weight. When controversy starts circling, people do not just want luxury shots and polished vibes. Social media did exactly what it always does. Within minutes, timelines were breaking down every syllable of DL's delivery. Some folks said he was alluding to pressure behind the scenes. Others argued he was speaking on optics and how staying quiet can start to look suspicious even if there's nothing there. The back and forth escalated quickly. One side insisted Jay-Z has earned the right to operate in silence, that he does not owe the internet a press conference every time his name trends. Then the other camp stepped in, saying that when you brand yourself as a cultural leader, silence becomes its own message, whether you intended it or not. That friction is exactly why this situation keeps simmering. It also touches something deeper about how power really works in entertainment. Jay-Z has long carried the reputation of being untouchable, the businessman playing chess while everyone else is stuck on checkers. He has navigated rap beef, corporate reshuffles, streaming battles, and non-stop scrutiny. But girl, the climate has shifted. The public is demanding transparency. They are analyzing alliances, partnerships, and every calculated move under a microscope. D.L. Hughley pointing out that the next step could change everything feels like he is saying the margin for error is razor thin. Even a neutral action can be interpreted as picking a side. Even remaining silent can be spun as alignment. And let's be real, when D.L. talks like this, he is not throwing darts in the dark. He understands the rhythm of media cycles. He knows how fast a respected name can get pulled into conversations they never signed up for. He's seen careers skyrocket and stall out. So when he calls this a defining moment, it lands less like gossip and more like a veteran issuing a coded warning after watching the game flip overnight. That is why this does not feel like a random celebrity call-out. It feels like a pressure check on Jay-Z's next public move. What's really wild is that this debate is less about one specific action and more about optics. In today's landscape, perception can outweigh pure facts. If Jay-Z makes a move that feels strategic but emotionally distant, you already know some people will label it cold and detached. If he comes out swinging, some critics will say it is pure damage control. You won't believe this, but there is barely a safe lane to drive in. That is the corner DL appears to be pointing at. The higher the throne, the tighter the rope gets. And when your entire brand is built on precision and calculated moves, one emotional reaction can look completely off script. The streets are divided. Some are calling this just another news cycle that will fade the second the next viral headline drops. Others are saying this feels like one of those rare inflection points historians circle back to and say is when the tide shifted. Because legacy is not just about wealth or awards, it is about the story that remains when the applause fades. D.L. Hughley is essentially arguing that Jay-Z's next decision will either strengthen the mastermind narrative or fracture the image in a way that cannot be fully patched up. And in a culture that tracks every move like a live broadcast, that kind of weight is heavy. What makes it even more intense is that Jay-Z has crafted his persona around always being 10 moves ahead. He is not known for reacting on impulse. He observes, calculates, then strikes when the leverage is right. That is why D.L. Hughley's caution lands differently in this moment. It hints that this could be one of those rare situations where waiting too long becomes the mistake. In earlier eras, silence worked for Jay-Z. He let controversy exhaust itself while he focused on expanding the business. But hold up, today's culture does not always reward quiet strategy. The internet fills gaps instantly, and once a narrative sticks, it spreads at lightning speed. DL's message almost translates to control the narrative before it controls you. A lot of people overlook that real influence is tied to credibility. Jay-Z has positioned himself as more than a music figure. He has stepped into activism, reform conversations, and high-level partnerships connected to powerful institutions. When you operate in those arenas, every move gets magnified. D.L. Hughley understands that. He has spent years speaking on politics, race, and the responsibility that comes with celebrity. So when he suggests Jay-Z's next move could change everything, it feels connected to accountability, not in a courtroom drama way, but in a cultural expectation way. People want clarity from their icons. Another layer to this is how fast alliances can pivot. The entertainment industry runs on relationships. A collaboration today can turn into distance tomorrow. If Jay-Z publicly aligns himself in a way fans reject, backlash could be immediate. If he pulls away from certain circles, that will spark its own round of speculation. There is no such thing as neutral territory when your name carries this much gravity. That is the reality D.L. Hughley seems to be underscoring. It's not just about action, it's about how millions will interpret that action through their own lenses. Online, the reaction has evolved into a full-scale debate about legacy. Some supporters are riding hard for Jay-Z, saying decades of impact cannot be erased by one choice. Others argue that legacy is more fragile than people admit. They point to how quickly public sentiment has flipped on other powerful figures after pivotal decisions. The culture archives everything now. Screenshots never disappear, old interviews resurface, clips get chopped and replayed without context. DL's warning feels rooted in the understanding that once momentum shifts, regaining control is a battle. There is also the possibility of unseen pressure. When D.L. Hughley talks about a move that could alter everything, some hear whispers of industry dynamics behind closed doors. Are expectations being set privately? Are conversations unfolding that the public is not privy to? Nothing has been officially confirmed, yet the speculation alone keeps the temperature high. That is the complicated part. Even without hard evidence, perception can manufacture its own hurricane, and storms in this digital era move fast. At the same time, Jay-Z has demonstrated resilience under pressure before. He has transformed setbacks into strategic wins. He has converted criticism into leverage. That is why this feels like a chessboard moment. Does he confront it head-on? Does he let it fade? Or does he pivot in a way nobody anticipates and redirect the entire spotlight? D.L. Hughley's comments raised the stakes. What could have been a quiet internal strategy now feels like a public countdown. The culture thrives on turning points. It gravitates toward moments that feel like everything could shift overnight. That's the energy in the air right now. Not because of one explosive scandal, but because of what it represents. Jay-Z symbolizes ascension in hip-hop. He symbolizes ownership and calculated control. So when a respected voice like D.L. Hughley hints that the next step could redefine that image, it creates suspense. People start dissecting every interview, every post, every corporate announcement. They hunt for signals. They study facial expressions. They read between lines that may or may not exist. In the end, this goes beyond gossip. It's about how powerful figures navigate influence in an era that demands daily transparency. D.L. Hughley essentially placed the spotlight squarely on Jay-Z and said the next chapter carries unusual weight. Whether this becomes a defining historical pivot or just another trending topic depends entirely on what unfolds next. But listen, one thing is undeniable: the pressure is tangible. The audience is locked in, and the next move could either fortify the empire even further or reshape how Jay-Z is discussed for years to come.